Now, based on this standard that we talk about, if you want to like summarize them, the general things that you want to always look for is that there is a proper course assessment, and this course assessment, by proper, it means that they have adequate alignment to the objectives that we define in the course. Measurability is very important. We talked in detail about that last session, and then the measurability focuses on how we use those specific standards or words to make sure that we convey the meaning and we are able to assess that. For example, in many syllabus you may see the word understand, right, or know, but these are wrong words because there's no way that you can measure if a student understands something. But if you say, for example, describe some principle, then if you ask the students, okay, describe this, they can give you like an essay answer, and then that would be for you to see, okay, they can describe principle 1, principle 2, principle 3. So describe is a measurable outcome, but understand is not a measurable outcome. So we want to see if all these wording that we use, no matter for the course learning objective or for the topic or module, they should be all measurable. Consistency is important, meaning that there should be a step-by-step way for you to do this assessment, and then they can all make sense when you put it together, right? So maybe this specific module for this week is going to focus on some learning outcomes, and then they go back to one of the course learning outcomes. So that consistency, you want to check that it always exists. Clarity is important, and by clarity, it could be the more information you give your students and also how they should achieve that. So if you tell them, okay, you are expected to, in this module, you are expected to learn this, to explain this, to apply this, then how they can do that, right? Of course, we can say, okay, go ahead and study the material, but is there any specific instruction that if you give it to students, it can help them? Are there any extra reading and probably some YouTube videos from other sources, some other websites that they have good case studies or applications? So all these things, they can help you to be more clear about that part. And suitability. Suitability is very important, and in my experience, it is usually gained after teaching the course, maybe the same course for twice at least, because then you see how you can gauge the amount of the work that you expect your students to carry with them at the end of the semester. And maybe some of the learning activities that you designed, they were too simple. Some of them, they were too complicated, right? So you find that balance and you see how suitable it is to your audience. And sometimes after beginning the semester, you have to change them, right? Because for 2-3 weeks, you have some expectation, and now you see, well, you need to level up or maybe down. So that would be the suitability. So we want to make sure that we meet these different criteria. And if you are able, so the whole point of this story is that if we are able to make sure that our learning outcomes of the course are tied to the assessment, meeting all these criteria, then you have a standard design for presenting your material, and you can be sure that to a high level the learning happens because you have a very thorough and standard way of presenting your material, and also a good assessment map to make sure that what you expect is learned by a student. Now for each of these, to make it simpler, I just put some questions there. So we can use this as some extra material for the group activity that we are doing today. So that you want to evaluate your, to see, okay, is my course meeting these standards, like a standard 2 and 3? So just answering this question can help, right? So the first one was that we want to make sure, do we have the course level objective or competencies good? Are they okay? So the first thing is that, what are those objectives that you want to evaluate, right? And then where did you find those in your course? So if you go to a Canvas course, if I'm a learner and I go to this Canvas course, where can I find them? So did you explain that for your learner? And then if the answer is yes, you're already good on that. So what about the module level objectives or unit level objectives, right? So to achieve all these 3, 4, 5 different course objectives, what are those module level? So again, what are they? how they are evaluated, and then where you can find them. So that is the question that you want to answer. For the measurability, you want to make sure that these words that we use, the verb, the action verbs that we use, they are all measurable. And maybe to remember, a better way is that they should be action verbs. If they are, then definitely they are measurable. But which one you use, it depends on what a specific level you expect, undergrad or grad, and then probably at what stage of the semester you are. Usually, for example, if you say deliver a presentation on this specific topic, that would be toward the end of the semester. So that would be a proper verb, because it's what you expect the students to be able to do. But at the beginning of the semester, maybe they are more defining or describing, explaining, that kind of thing for a lower division course, for example. And the other one, if you look at your unit level or modular learning activities, are they also measurable? So make sure that they are, right? Because it's easy to get lost when they are just writing all those sentences. For the consistency, again, you want to make sure that there is a consistency between your competencies at course level and module level. And for the clarity, the question probably is it clear to you what each course level and module level means? So if it is clear to you, probably it should be clear to students, right? And then for suitability, as I said, it is a very important thing. So you want to look at it or answer a lot of questions about that. So maybe it's a big list, but you can just use some of them. What is the level of the course? So upper level, lower level, graduate, undergraduate. And then at what level are your course objectives or competencies? And by that, again, you mean, as the example, as I said, at the beginning of the semester, maybe you want to focus on teaching those principles, those fundamental information, or some theories for your students. So they should meet the assessment that you use for that specific week, right? And look at the overall suitability of your course objectives to the expectation that you have. So we talked about that backward design, and that is a very good way to answer this suitability question, right? So as an instructor, after students leave this course, you want them to be able to answer 3 main questions, right? Or to be able to do 3 main tasks. So did you design all these activities or these competencies based on that? So you are sure that now they are able to answer those questions. And again, the prerequisites for the course, so to make sure that the students are on the same page when you start, and then if there is any prereq, for example, if you are teaching that some advanced courses and then the students do not already have the prereq, maybe they have passed the prereq course, but do they really have that kind of knowledge or not? So that would be another thing you want to check, maybe by an assessment quiz at the beginning of the semester, by having some discussion boards or any other tools that you may find suitable. And some part of that goes back to the other academic support services that are available for your learners. For example, when I'm teaching a course in research methods for engineering and technology, and that serves as a writing assessment course for our master program, I make sure that the students are aware of all the writing support that the university can provide for them and all the tutorial that they can use, right? Because that for this course, that would be very, very helpful. Because the main project or the main delivery of this course for my student is a written proposal that they should use for their future master program. So that is why there is a lot of emphasis on that academic support services available. So what other information you can provide to help them? And these are all go under the category of suitability. Now, before we go to that part about you assessing one of the courses that you have done, I just want to share how I did these standards for one of my undergraduate courses.